Postman is heading to a cabin in the woods to deliver a letter. Someone is clearly inside. He knocks for a long time, but no one comes to the door. A piercing scream from the basement catches Postman's attention. He opens the window and looks down into the basement. It's pitch black. He can't see a thing, but he's sure someone is down there. Kind-hearted Postman reaches in, trying to pull the person up, but the distance is too far and he can't reach. Postman stands up to go find help. Then he turns around, and something from the basement grabs him. He's yanked straight down. Human or something else? What secret is hiding in that dark basement? 30 years later, at a summer camp training facility, a group of young people arrives. Camp manager Olivier explains the situation. They all have serious phone addictions. The goal of this camp is to help them disconnect from their devices and break the addiction for good. After getting off the bus, the staff immediately confiscates everyone's phones. Then everyone is divided into small groups by number. Each group has a different mission. They'll each be led by a trainer for their own outdoor activities. None of these young people have any idea what's coming. In a cabin in the woods, not far from the camp, something terrifying is happening. An old woman tosses a freshly hunted wild boar carcass into the basement. Maybe it's her age catching up with her. She loses her footing and tumbles in right along with it. Then, suddenly, a hand covered in pustules reaches out from the darkness. The old woman lying on the ground slowly opens her eyes. But there's no escaping now. One scream, and the creature slowly walks out of the basement. Back at the camp, the groups are all set. Zosha's team has 6 people total, besides their female trainer, Isa. From left to right, Bartek, Aniela, Zosha, Yulik, and Daniel. Their mission is a 3-day hiking trek deep in the forest. Along the way, while Yulik was relieving himself, he found the body of a wild deer. The deer's belly is hollowed out. All the organs are gone. The sight is gruesome. Isa pokes the carcass with a stick. She decides this deer wasn't killed by a hunter. It was attacked by some kind of predator. The deer feels like a warning sign, but Isa doesn't think much of it. Meanwhile, Zosha catches a glimpse of what looks like a hand behind a tree. She figures she's just seeing things, so she keeps it to herself. Evening, the group finds a clearing and sets up camp. During rest time, Isa asks why everyone joined this summer camp. Yulik speaks up. He's a gaming streamer, 900,000 followers on YouTube. In a national competition, he once placed second. But his parents don't support his gaming career. Yulik was supposed to fly to Korea for a tournament. If he won, he'd take home a 500,000 prize. Instead, his parents not only cut off his internet, they shipped him straight to this camp. When Isa flips to Zosha's profile, she goes quiet. It turns out that not long ago, Zosha's parents and little sister were killed in a car accident. Maybe coming here is her way of healing. The truth is too cruel, so Isa says nothing. Late at night, everyone drifts off to sleep. Only restless Aniela and Daniel sneak off to the lake together. After a brief moment of closeness, Aniela heads back to camp, satisfied. Daniel, still wanting more, pulls out the phone he's been hiding and logs onto social media looking to entertain himself a little longer. But Daniel has no idea. Danger is already right beside him. A massive man covered in boils suddenly appears. He grabs Daniel's sleeping bag, then slams him into a tree trunk like he's swinging a toy over and over again. By the time morning comes, the others finally notice Daniel never came back. Isa asks who saw him last. When she learns it was Aniela, the group heads to the lake. Aniela tells Isa nothing happened between her and Daniel last night. They just came to the lake to talk. She left on her own afterward. Where Daniel went, she has no idea. Just then, Zosha spots fresh bloodstains on a nearby tree trunk. Is that blood? Even if you can't tell by looking, one sniff would make it obvious. But somehow, Isa skips every check and declares on the spot that it's just tree sap. Back at camp, Isa leaves Bartek and Aniela behind and heads out with Yulik and Zosha to keep searching for Daniel. Yulik tells Isa that in horror movies, there are a few things that get people killed every time. Curiosity, carelessness, arrogance, no plot armor, messy relationships, and splitting up. Yulik is a little worried because right now they're already pretty split up. Isa doesn't pay it any mind because as far as she's concerned, this isn't a horror movie. They walk for what feels like forever. Then, the 3 of them stumble across a cabin in the woods. Without thinking twice, they walk right in. The place seems empty. Then a phone rings, coming from the basement. They pull open the wooden door. A wall of stench hits them in the face. Worried that Daniel might be trapped down there, all 3 push through the smell and head downstairs. The moment they reach the bottom, the sight stops them cold. Daniel is chained to a table, covered in blood. He is very clearly very dead. And the ringtone they just heard, it was coming from his phone. Then, heavy footsteps from above. The 3 of them freeze. They have no choice but to stay hidden in the basement. But the danger isn't over. The footsteps get closer. Isa tells Zosha and Yulik to crawl out through the basement window. She'll stay behind to cover them and grab Daniel's phone on the way out. But Isa underestimates what she's up against. The moment she sees the thing clearly, she realizes walking into this cabin is the worst decision she's ever made. A wooden stick is her only weapon. Against this boil-covered monster, it means nothing. Then something comes flying out of the basement. They look. It's Isa's head. Horrified, the two of them run. Back at camp, Aniela and Bartek still have no idea what's happening. They sit together, relaxed, just talking about life. Bartek opens up about his past. How his relationship with his parents has always been strained because of his sexuality. He keeps talking, lost in his own story, not noticing that Aniela has gone completely quiet. When he finally realizes she hasn't responded in a while, he turns to look at her. What he sees makes his stomach drop. Aniela has a wooden stake driven through her body, and the thing that killed her is the same boil-covered monster. Bartek is out of his mind with fear. He turns and runs. The monster doesn't chase him right away. It's busy lifting Aniela's body with the stake like a trophy, then tossing her into the lake. Bartek runs and runs until he spots a church. A church. Out here in the middle of nowhere. This feels too good to be true. Bartek thinks he's finally safe. He goes inside and tells the priest everything. He wants to call the police. But the priest says there's no cell signal out here. And the landline is down too. The moment he says it, the landline rings. The priest is lying. This man is not what he seems. Before Bartek can react, the priest blindsides him from behind and knocks him out. When Bartek opens his eyes again, he's tied tightly to a chair. The priest is staring at him with a deeply unsettling look. Turns out the priest has very wrong intentions toward Bartek. Just as he's about to make his move, something stirs outside the church. The priest steps out to check. The monster grabs him and chokes him to death on the spot. But that's not enough. The monster shoves the priest's body into a wood chipper. In seconds, he's nothing but pulp. A few minutes later, all the monster is holding is a pair of shoes. While the priest is gone, Bartek doesn't just sit there. He works the ropes loose and frees his hands. The moment he senses danger, he dives into a cabinet. Think that's going to save him? No, absolutely not. The monster swings the door open, tilts its head, and looks at Bartek, then lunges. Bartek doesn't make it either. Back to Zosha and Ulik. They're the only two left alive. Deep in the forest, they find a small cabin. Inside lives an old man. He listens to everything they've been through and stays completely calm. This old man is actually the postman from the very beginning of the story, the one the monster dragged into the basement. He survived barely, but he lost both legs below the knee, and he knows something about the boil-covered monster that almost no one else does. Over 30 years ago, a single mother lived in a cabin in the woods with her twin boys. They also had a lively little dog. Life was simple and poor, but the family was happy. Then, one afternoon, everything changed. While the twin brothers are playing in the yard, a massive boom tears through the sky. They look up. Something like a meteor has just exploded. Driven by curiosity, the two boys track down where it landed. They don't just look at it, they bring it home. That night, something goes wrong. A black liquid carrying some unknown substance seeps out of the rock. Both boys are infected. Whatever it is moves fast. Within no time, their veins bulge and blood starts pouring from their noses and mouths. Early the next morning, the mother goes to wake her sons and finds the beds empty. She walks to the basement door. On the ground, the dog's bloody, torn-off limbs. From somewhere below, she hears chewing. She looks down into the basement. Her two sons are eating the dog's body. She realizes instantly that something is terribly wrong. She locks the basement door. Both boys have become something dangerous, but she's their mother. She can't bring herself to call the police, so instead, she keeps them locked in the basement. Afraid they'll starve, she goes out hunting every day, feeding them with animal carcasses. This goes on for years, until she gets old and one day accidentally falls into the basement, along with the prey. The twin monsters tear her apart and eat her. When the story is over, the old man tells Zosha and Ulik that the nearest village is a 2-day walk from here. They're welcome to stay. If they want to leave, he won't stop them. After thinking it over, the two of them decide to go back to the cabin and retrieve Daniel's phone. It has to be said, this is an incredibly risky call. When they get there, Ulik comes up with a plan. He'll make noise and draw the monster away. Zosha will slip in through the basement window. Before they start, Zosha hands Ulik her knife to protect himself. Then, Ulik bangs on the front door of the cabin, shouting for the monster to come out. The good news is, the monster actually leaves the basement. But the moment Zosha pulls the phone off Daniel's body, the monster comes back. It wraps its hands around Zosha's throat and squeezes. Just in the nick of time, Ulik arrives. He stabs the knife into the monster's body. The monster cries out in pain. Then, it grabs Zosha and slams her unconscious. And now it's Ulik's turn to suffer. The monster pulls the knife out and gets right up in Ulik's face. Ulik panics and says he's sorry. But this is a horror movie. Apologies don't work here. The monster brutally bites off his tongue. When Zosha wakes up, she finds Ulik lying in a pool of blood. His tongue is gone. He can't even say his last words. The pain is unbearable. Zosha understands what he's asking her to do, so she helps him finally let go. Zosha wants to call the police. She doesn't know Daniel's phone passcode, but luckily his severed hand is right there on the ground. She presses his finger to the phone. Fingerprint unlock works. But her relief lasts less than a second. The phone she just unlocked picks this exact moment to die. For a second, Zosha almost loses it. Meanwhile, the monster heads back to its room to deal with the stab wound at its waist. Its twin brother has also returned from the church. After patching himself up, the monster sinks into bed and falls into a deep, comfortable sleep. He doesn't realize he's forgotten something very important. He forgot to lock the basement door. But Zosha, trapped down there, hasn't given up. She finds a big machete under the bed, then quietly climbs out of the basement. The monster is sleeping soundly. Zosha raises the machete without hesitation and brings it down hard. Once it's done, she runs into the forest. That's when she runs into a policeman. But this policeman looks shady from the start, because just a moment earlier, a woman in a leopard print miniskirt climbed out of his patrol car. She'd clearly just finished a very particular kind of transaction with him. The policeman takes Zosha and starts to drive off. They haven't gone far when he spots someone lying on the road behind them. Zosha tries to stop him, but he insists on getting out to check. The monster splits him clean in two with the knife. Zosha jumps into the driver's seat ready to escape, but of all moments, the patrol car won't start. Within seconds, the monster drives its knife into the car. The situation is dire. At the last possible second, she finally slams the gas pedal down and tears away from the monster. But Zosha doesn't just leave. She thinks of her friends. All dead. There's no way she's letting this thing live. So she throws the car in reverse and rams the monster down, then drives forward right over it. She keeps going until the monster is completely crushed. Zosha finally gets her revenge. With a heart full of emotion she can't quite name, she leaves that nightmare of a forest behind. And here's how the story ends. The very dead monster on the side of the road opens its eyes. Two drunk men walk right up to it. The other monster inside the cabin stands up too, and outside the window, a row of police car lights starts flashing.